Hey there, friends. What is going on? My name is Rabbit, and welcome to episode number 50 of Let's Play through Final Fantasy Origins, specifically Final Fantasy 1 on the PlayStation 1. Yes, friends, we are still in the Temple of Chaos back 2,000 years in the past, where we had kind of parted ways in our last episode. We had just wrapped up another one of these basement levels, and we are now facing off against Merilith, who we had seen previously when we fought Lich, that it almost seems like the Fiends 2,000 years ago weren't Fiend status. I mean, just listen. This is the normal battle music. It's not even the boss tracks that they had before. So I don't know if the game is implying that they're just kind of slowly climbing their way through the ranks at this point in the timeline. I don't know what commentary is kind of being ushered in here for us to kind of pick and choose from. But what we do know is it is time to take out Merilith because she's blocking the stairs. So either way, also I should highlight, we did see when we took down Lich that you have the ability to face him twice. I'm 99% sure you can do this with all the Fiends, and we'll test that theory here in just a moment once we're done with Carrie or Merilith or whatever her flippin' name is. But okay, enough talk. Let's see. I'm not even sure what I want to do. I don't think she's going to be a problem, so I'm hard-pressed to cast anything. But just to play it safe, let's go ahead and use a shield too, because I don't really want to take unnecessary levels of damage if I don't have to. And of course, we're going to throw out a haste on Burl, and that should make short work of Merilith. I'm pretty sure, honestly, just one attack from him is going to get the job done. So I kind of hate that Merilith attacked Melvin first, so we took damage for almost no reason, but it is okay. Truthfully, Burl's kind of all you need for this encounter. It's pretty easy pickings around here. But I will give you guys the heads up. This next floor, where I think you guys can all just deduce by now, Kraken will be waiting for us. The next floor ends up being a pain in my patootie, or it has in the past when I've navigated through it. I just think it's kind of confusing, Basement 3. But I want to just quickly run back up here. And yes, officially confirmed, you can go ahead and basically antagonize poor Merilith and fight her a second time. So I don't know why they keep repopulating on that spot where they're guarding. I have no idea. I guess maybe they respawn. You know, I have no clue. I'm guessing it's that they either are coming back to life after we kill them, or maybe we're not killing them. We're just leaving them to suffer on the steps. I think I might have said as much about Lich, that we just whoop their butt just to set an example for any of the others that might come down and be like, hey, Lich, what's taking so long? The pizza's already here. Oh, shit, what happened to you? And then he'll let them know the Warriors of Light came and kicked my butt. But by that point, we will have kicked everyone's butts, so that probably doesn't matter quite as much. But, you know, with my very overactive imagination, that's what I'm guessing is going down. Reaper, well, what do you know? Doesn't work. Oh, that sucks for you, Merilith. Pretty sure it's because I threw that ribbon on him, and that's the only thing that saved Burl's bacon there. But I'd say that was not too bad. We got a couple heals off. I mean, obviously that encounter took longer because I did not just go ahead and throw the haste on Burl. So if you're looking for, I guess, a cheese way of tackling this, honestly, probably a cheese way of us tackling any of the remaining Fiends. Throw a haste on Burl and call it a day. You could probably do the same thing for your warriors as well, and it'll get the job done. I want to quickly just double check. Yeah, I did take the ribbon off Tyrone. I thought so. After I had said that, I was like, did I? You guys, I'm losing my mind. And I really shouldn't be. I think the fights just throw me off after a certain point. There's so many that I'm like, oh gosh, how long have I been here? What's going on? But we've really not had that much happening, so there's no reason for me to be too... Oh, actually, I'll use the Thor's hammer. Since these Aquos are water-based, I probably can get them with lightning-based damage. And you know, I'm so silly. I didn't think about this earlier, but I wonder if the monsters on each of the respective basement floors correspond to the element of the Fiend that's there. Can someone confirm that? I'm guessing if I go back and as I'm editing the footage, I'll think to look at that, whereas I've not really paid attention to it before. But we know we're coming across Kraken's domain right now, and we're fighting some water-based monsters. So I'm guessing Marilith's floor was heavy on fire, wasn't it? Or am I just completely pulling this out of my butt and you guys are like, Rabbit, what are you even talking about? I don't know, friends. I don't know. I'm just thinking aloud, sharing with you anything that pops into my head, which is probably dangerous for me to tell you guys everything that I'm thinking. But it's not like you would think. Kind of as like a side story or side joke. And yeah, all of these guys are sea-based. So I'm going to go out and say, for people who are playing this for the very first time, I think all of these basement floors where the fiends are kind of hiding out and blocking the way to the next level, I believe all of the enemies are going to match the theme or the element of the fiend itself. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But I do want to make sure I'm healing up. I don't think these guys are going to hurt us too badly. But anyway, the story I was starting to share with you guys. During my undergrad, I had a friend. She was a mess, an absolute mess. She didn't have any like diagnosed condition or anything, but she very much was that person that as soon as she thought something, she just blurted it out and would say it. So she was the person that, you know, if everyone was kind of going out together to do something, you never, oh Lord, let me slow my roll here. You never wanted to ask her a question or tell her something that would elicit some type of vulgar response or a very abrupt or potentially offensive response, because she would just blurt it out. So I remember one time there was like a whole group of us and we were going out to eat to celebrate. I think it was either someone's birthday or an anniversary or something. I don't remember exactly where we were going or for what reason we were going there, but we were all going out to eat and we were in the middle of getting ready and someone had purchased, I think they had gotten okay, it was a birthday, now that I'm saying this out loud. So it was one of our girlfriend's birthday parties, and somebody had, in our group, had also arranged for a few of the boyfriends to show up. So hold on, I'll put the story on pause. As we celebrate Tyrone's level with 30 HP, what? That's what I'm talking about, Tyrone, plus some strength, plus some agility, intelligence, and luck. I'd say this is a great way to kick off this floor, although I'm not a huge fan of Kraken's. Kraken's floor is a pain in the butt, in my humble opinion. But okay, so, oh my gosh. So basically, one of the girls ended up plotting and planning and scheming to invite a lot of the boyfriends of folks. For those of us that had boyfriends there at the time, during my undergrad, Andrew was in Arkansas, and I did my undergrad in Kansas. I know, or Kansas, or I guess you could say Arkansas. I don't understand that. Side note to my side story, Arkansas and then Kansas. Why is it not Arkansas or Kansas? You know what I'm saying? That's so weird to me. Like, Kansas is truly Arkansas without the AR. Or I guess you could say Arkansas is Kansas plus the AR. I don't know. That's so weird to me. But anyway, I digress, obviously. So Andrew was not able to be there. And there were a couple of the other boyfriends that weren't going to be there as well. But, oh Lord, what did I click on for you? I want to heal up. And we'll go ahead and use another set of the gauntlets just to get rid of these fools. They do a lot of damage, so I actually probably should not use this type of encounter with the Aquos as the place to worry about healing. Seemed like the sea trolls and everyone that kind of came with those enemies didn't do as much damage, so that might be the better spot to kind of hunker down and focus on throwing out all of the healing helms and healing staffs and all that good stuff. So just a side note for those of you playing along with me, that's what I would advise. Now that I'm actually focusing and paying attention, I would not try to do much healing when you're facing a whole fleet of these Aquos. They really chipped away at Rohit's HP there, didn't they? Okay, let me finish my flippin' story. So one of the girls was arranging for all the boyfriends to meet us there, and there was going to be a limousine, and it was going to be just a really nice birthday celebration for this girl that we were all pretty close to, and she was so sweet. I wasn't as close to her as some of the other girls were, but I thought she was a really nice person, and I did enjoy the limited interactions that I had with her. So anyway, this other friend who just would always blurt everything out loud. The one girl who was trying to arrange some of the boyfriend stuff and get some things kind of set up, she asked her, I didn't hear exactly everything that she said to her because it was kind of like softly spoken as we were all getting ready. And of course we were all in like a hotel getting ready, and a few of us had already started congregating in the lobby, and we were waiting for the limousine to show up. And so one of the girls asked the other girl basically like, okay, so did you make sure that you called all the guys or that you arranged? I think she was just asking to confirm that the other girl had made all the necessary phone calls she was supposed to make related to the boys showing up. And then the one friend, I swear, without even missing a beat, not even checking the surroundings, that there are kids in the lobby of this nice hotel that we're in. There are other adults, just people. It's not like we were all in a private bathroom or somebody's house. But she said, of course I made sure the dicks are gonna arrive. We're here to have a good time, aren't we? And oh my gosh, you guys, it's not, I guess, that vulgar on the internet to say you guys are like, what, that's nothing. Have you played Dota or League of Legends? People say far worse every day. But again, keep in mind, this is in real life, in public, and she's just referring to the guys as dicks, very openly saying that half of the girls were getting laid this evening. And we're all like super dressed up, so we probably looked like, I don't know, maybe like we were going to prom or something. Oh my gosh, it was a mess, and you should have seen the look on some of the people's faces that were in the lobby, some folks that were already coming out of the hallway that was adjacent to the lobby. I am not one to get super embarrassed, but even I was kind of like, what is wrong with you? You can't think before you respond, or do you at least know how to whisper? I think if you're going to be the type of person to just blurt things out loud very abruptly in response to questions posed to you, you should at least maybe, just flippin' maybe whisper is what I would say, or keep your voice down. Oh my gosh, really happy memories though. I know for some people they're pleasant memories of their undergrad. Excuse me, I don't know why my voice is dying here. Give me 1 second to sip on my tea. Okay, there we go. I have no idea. I feel like my voice just suddenly gave out. Probably because I'm talking non-stop. Not that that's ever slowed me down before. But anyway, oh gosh, I have some really fond memories of my undergrad. I feel like for a lot of people, the fond memories they have mostly pertain to like the partying or, you know, just being independent for the first time. For me, as strange as this may be to say, my fond memories from my undergrad mostly revolved around certain novel experiences. So I was very heavily involved in our international student group, and we had like an international friendship team, and I was just really involved in a lot of cool projects during my undergrad. And I was busy, as you guys recall. I was a triple major and I was working, but I met so many magnificent people. And I mean, this is not a secret that, you know, growing up for me, I come from an immigrant household, and I think there was just a lot of stuff going on my mom's side in particular. So getting away wasn't about freedom for me, you know, so I can stay up late and I can drink. Like, I didn't even have my first sip of alcohol until I was in it was like mid-20s. Well, that's not true. I went to like a wedding and I had some champagne, but you guys know what I'm saying. I did not actually have alcohol to enjoy it, I guess, personally or privately until I was in my mid-20s. Up until that point, it had just been at like weddings or celebrations like that. I guess I would have a glass of champagne. But anyway, I never drank before I was 21, and I was always very focused on my academics, and I was just a very good, responsible person growing up. And a lot of people also kind of highlight this now, that it's pretty common for folks who say, you know, I was an old soul, or I grew up really quickly and I was just always mature for my age. It's probably because a lot of us dealt with some level of trauma, or we had to grow up quickly to survive, either because you had parents that worked a lot and you were responsible for caring for your younger siblings, or, like I said, maybe you dealt with some level of abuse or neglect, and in order to really not succumb to a lot of those negative feelings, you kind of had to grow up, right? I think mine was sort of a mix where there was a lot of responsibility put on me very early on in life, and my mom had a lot of undiagnosed and then later diagnosed but untreated mental illness, which I do think was generational for us, because I know her mom struggled with quite a few things as well. So it was interesting. And it is interesting now, even looking back on my youth and looking back on my, late teens and early 20s. I was very heavily involved in my academics. I was very heavily involved in working. I was independent basically from 15. I had a worker's permit and a driver's permit, got my first car before I was 16, and I worked since then, going through high school, being involved in all kinds of clubs, working part-time, paying my way through my undergrad, then going to graduate school, working through graduate school to pay my way through that. I just always stayed very, very busy. So my fond memories of my undergrad never stemmed from, finally I can stay up late and go to all the dorm parties or all of the Greek life parties. I know, I'm not even cool enough to say it right. I make it sound uncool. Oh gosh. For me, it was truly about having community and meeting other people who had cool and unique experiences and who were open to listening to my unique experiences. Because also, when you think about where I went to high school, I was in Arkansas, and we were in a pretty, I would say it wasn't that remote, but it also did not get a lot of international levels of transients. I think I'm supposed to go to the right, actually. So I'm not sure why I headed in this direction. And thank goodness, preemptive strike. So that'll let me kill these two. And I do actually need to focus on healing up my party. So maybe what I will do, I'm thinking about pausing here, leaving one of these flippin' sea scorpions alive and just healing everybody up. But you know what? Whatever. I'll finish my thought super quick. And it shouldn't be an issue. So yes, finishing my thought quickly for you guys. I really needed, I think, community, and I thrived because I was able to, I think during that undergrad era for me, I learned a lot about myself because during my high school age, which is what I was starting to say, there really wasn't a lot of international transients. So there were like maybe 5 families in the whole town of 30,000. It's a little bigger now, but at the time it was about 30,000 people. Only a few of us had families that were not from Arkansas. So it wasn't even about like race or ethnicity as much as it was about culture, cultural identity or international identity. I remember in our high school there were 2 girls. Their parents were from, I think, they were from Ecuador, I want to say. Then we had one international student from Italy, and then one international student from, I think it was from France or Belgium, and then there was me. So we had truly, you could count on one hand the international or non-Arkansas even presence that was there. It was just so crazy. So talking to a lot of people about things or doing sleepovers, people just didn't really, and this included the adults, didn't often understand my family. They didn't understand a few things, and it wasn't just the lack of understanding that could be a little disheartening at times, but more so the occasional hate or just toxicity that came from that. I remember when Andrew and I first started dating, even though my father was American and I was born on American soil, yes, he was military, but that happens all the time. There are plenty of people who maybe one parent is from the U.S., but you were born, let's just say, at the Kadena Air Force Base in Okinawa. You're still American, even if you were born in Okinawa, if you were born on that military base. So I don't know what was so hard for some people in that town to understand about that. But I remember when Andrew and I first started dating, because His mom was even a teacher in the area, so his family was kind of not well known, but again, generations of people being born and raised in a small town or within that same county or neighboring counties. Everyone knew everybody's business, which I don't mind. You guys know I bought a house in a small rural community in North Carolina. I love that small town feel, but at the same time, it does have a lot of limitations, I think, for folks who are not from the area. And that's regardless of whether you're from a different country or just from a different state. I think people are wary of what's new and what's different, and it feels even more so in a small community where people have known each other's families for 3 generations or more. So I remember, and that was a really hard thing to deal with, that even though I was American, I often got lumped in that town where I went to high school, where a lot of people questioned, like, does she even have her citizenship? It was just super weird. And you guys have to also remember, this was still like post 9/11, I think, where people were very wary of international presences in some of these remote rural communities. There was just a lot going on, and we weren't that far from Harrison, Arkansas, which at the time still had an active KKK membership going on. So there was just a whole lot going on in there. But I say all that, but I still want to highlight that I didn't have a bad high school life. Like Andrew and I have so many fond memories of our mid to late teens, and I was so involved in theater and different community things, and I really had a pretty good time. I had a strong friend group. I just got to be exposed to so much. I was part of Model United Nations. I got to participate in plays and in musicals. I did chess club. I was in track and field. So I had a very diverse high school experience that exposed me to a lot. And I think from there, what I was missing was the lack of compassion and understanding from people who were wary of foreigners or folks whose families maybe weren't from the U.S. Even if you happen to be second gen, they still were very wary of that in that rural community. So I was really missing that when I went on to my undergrad, like having a group of friends or knowing people that understood different cuisines. Like, hold on, I'll talk about that in just a second. But Rohit gained a level, only 7 HP. You're really going to let Tyrone have walked away with 30 and you take away 7? That is absurd, Rohit, but okay. But we'll get our intelligence, our endurance, and that is it. So what I was going to say is I remember in high school, and this was before the big movement for everyone to be aware of like animal testing on products or vegetarianism and stuff like that. So for me, vegetarianism was more of like a cultural thing or just like a dietary thing, and it wasn't as big of like a movement when I was in high school. Of course, there were still some people that were participating in vegetarianism as a result of maybe their parents being from the 60s and 70s and feeling very strongly about animal rights and animal cruelty. That was never the push for me and those in my family. Like my sister is vegan, I'm a vegetarian, and it was just more of like a cultural and I guess you'd just say a dietary choice. That was it. There was nothing else to it. But when we went to school, people didn't understand what vegetarians were like back then in that town. They just had no clue. I cannot tell you how many times I went to Andrew's house to participate in any sort of like family event, and they'd be like, hey, we made green beans. Oh, there's ham hock in it. Can you eat that? Can you just pick out the green beans? And I mean, I don't care. I've never been one who's minded what other people ate. I always just brought my own food, or I would just explain for the 50th time, like, no, I can't eat this. I'll make myself some green beans with like a veggie stock or something. Anyway, the whole thing was just that they couldn't understand something that was so different and so new. And some might argue it's not that they couldn't understand, but that they didn't want to understand. I try to give people the benefit of doubt, and I do think it is important to recognize that not everyone is the same, not everyone thinks the same, not everyone obviously eats the same or believes the same or looks the same. I've always been taught that that's okay, but not everybody has. So I think for me in high school in particular, I never felt overwhelmingly weighed down by this, but it was something I was grossly missing, was having people who they didn't necessarily need to relate to me, but could at least try to understand where I was coming from was something that I was sorely lacking and missing extremely. So that was my undergrad, transitioning from that incompleteness in that high school era to my undergrad, where I had 4 years of access to people from all over the world who understood vegetarianism as something more complex. They understood various religious beliefs, and they actually understood what went into those different religious beliefs. It was just very wonderful, and I actually felt like for the first time in my life I had a community at that time. So really fond memories that didn't involve blacking out at a party, so I'm pretty pumped about that. Anyway, Melvin also gained a level with only 8 HP. I don't know what is going on and why Tyrone is showing up everybody with these HP gains here, but some extra agility and some extra luck. Okay. And I realized I was garbage, and I've not cut out one fight for you guys, but I've been talking the whole time, which is equally valid. And what do you know? Kraken himself showing up. You know, typically, or so far anyway, we've been ending the episodes when we face off against the Fiend and then bringing it back to fight them twice. Why don't we kill him, because it's not going to take long, and then we will swiftly and promptly, we'll fight him a second time. That's what I was trying to decide. We want to fight him once in the episode, then fight him a second time when we start episode 51. But I think let's just kill him here. Let's just kill him now. And I'm sorry, Kraken. We won't be killing you, but we are going to whoop your butt. I don't know if you heard earlier when Lich was late to lunch. Whoa, okay. He was like, yeah, I heard. What about it? Okay, Kraken. Can you please calm down? It is not even that serious. Oh, Lord. Well, so much for my shit talking. I will, I'll see myself out of here, Kraken. My God, why do you do so much damage? No, let me raise. Oh my gosh, Kraken. Oh, Lord. He's not playing, and I really don't need Melvin to die. That is, not going to be, that's not going to be good at all. So I might just heal up. Ooh, I only have one more cure 4. This is not going to be good. We'll use just the 2 healing staffs and it'll be okay. As long as he doesn't attack Melvin, we're fine. Okay. So, Kraken was not the one to play around with. So, all of the crap I was talking, starting out, he was like, please take several seats, Rabbit, and let me do what I'm going to do. But I see you, Kraken. You still got your butt whooped, so what you going to do? What you going to say about it, brother? I really need to calm down, because he is going to come back and be more pissed than he just was. But you know what? We've got a little bit of time. I'm going to heal up Melvin, and we're going to actually try to fight him legitimately without me shit-talking and having my team die. That was not the way to approach that. I'm just going to eat up all of the potions. I think we'll be okay. Fingers crossed we'll be okay. We'll actually use spells this time, and it should be good. So, Kraken, are you still there? Oh, yeah. He said I didn't go anywhere. Okay, let's try this the legitimate way. I am going to actually start off by using the saber on Rohit. We're going to have Burl throw out his burly fists. I'm going to do a shield, because that is, or maybe I'll do invis. No, I better do the shield, because that's crazy town. I cannot even believe that. And of course, we've got the handy dandy haste, which should make Burl a beast, and Kraken should go down. So I've not really diversified my strategy at all. I just want to show you guys, Kraken doesn't have to be a pain in the butt if you're not talking crap like I was, and if you actually pay attention to what the heck you're doing. Because look at this. He should die in one more turn. I don't think we're going to be too susceptible to that. So yeah, we'll throw out more attacks, and I will, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I'll use this as an opportunity to get off 2 AoE heals if I can. I'm hoping Melvin will go next, because that will add that padding back to us that we lost, but no. But at least we got 1, which is nice. So there goes Kraken. That was so much better, so much easier, and it really didn't take that much strategizing. You just have to pay attention to what you're doing and not piss off Kraken. That's probably the second piece to that. But there we go. Kraken is officially defeated. We're getting all levels of unnecessary amounts of gil. Okay. really, game, I just want to take the stairs so I can be done with all of you and all of this. But you know what? I'm not playing with you guys anymore. Where are my gauntlets? Where is my Thor's hammer? And then Tyrone, I'm sorry, you will be the little healer for this encounter. And then we will go ahead and part ways here, friends. And I guess I could go ahead and just start my outro now as we are wrapping up this encounter. Thank you very much for watching. We are almost at the end. I don't know if we'll get to 55 episodes because we're kind of doing a floor per video, it seems like. So we'll see. We're getting even closer and closer to wrapping things up, which actually I guess I can talk about that in our next episode. We probably need to, or I should say, I probably need to really start thinking about what will take this game's place in my rotation, because you guys do know we are going to play Luffy and the Fortress of Doom when this is done. And then once Luffy and the Fortress of Doom is done, I need to figure out what 2 games are going to wrap up 2021 for us and or kickstart 2022 for us. I've got a few things in mind, and I might actually throw out a poll by the time you guys actually see this episode. The poll may have already gone up, and I may have already gathered your feedback, or I might have already made the decision. I don't know. It depends on how quickly I get all of these edited and out to you. But I'm still going to just throw this out there. I've got a few ideas. I am entertaining replaying The Legend of Dragoon. I would definitely still leave up my undertaking with Andrew because, you know, he's been such a wonderful part of my life up until now, and I anticipate him remaining a very big part of who I am and where I'll be moving forward in the future. So I want him to always remain a part of my experience, even on YouTube, because he's been such a great level of support for me, and he's just brought a lot of love and depth to my own existence. And again, when you're with someone for 17 years, you can't just overlook that and what they contributed to your life. So with that being said, I would probably just archive that series as being like incomplete as a duo husband and wife LP that maybe he and I will revisit someday or reboot someday. But as things stand right now, I think if you guys are wanting a complete version of The Legend of Dragoon, I will have to do it myself. And I would start over so that I could just have that continuity of beginning the game as just me, ending the game as just me, and I'd probably do it as a walkthrough, actually. I can play back through it and find all of the Stardust and all that good stuff. So anyway, that's an option. I probably wouldn't replay Undertale just because I know that's already been very, very heavily done on the interwebs, and I just don't feel super compelled to play through it myself. Again, that's one that if Andrew and I ever were in the position to, maybe we would do it together for you guys and just finish it, but I don't know. Or maybe I would start that one over to later on and just play through it casually myself. But either way you slice it, those 2 husband and wife LPs are probably done so, and I might just leave them as incomplete series and then redo Legend of Dragoon and or Undertale much later, with Undertale, mind you, as a solo run. So that's an option that I might put in the poll, is playing through that again, The Legend of Dragoon specifically. Then we could also look at something like Lunar, the Silver Star Story. I've really been wanting to play the Lunar games for a while. We've got a whole bunch of choices, but why am I saying all this as my outro? Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in just a moment in episode number 51, and I will pick right back up talking to you a little bit about options that I'm entertaining to end 2021 or start 2022 once we are done with this game, obviously, as well as Luffy and the Fortress of Doom. So thank you as always for watching. My name is Rabbit. This is our run through Final Fantasy 1 via the lens of Final Fantasy Origins, and I look forward to seeing you in just a second. So take care and be good.